Good morning, everyone. My name is Rebecca Fung. I'm an audiovisual communications and new media student at the Universidad Camilo José Cela, and today I'm here with Joe Clement. Hello, Joe. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. First, I wanted to talk to you about, since this is your first time visiting Spain and you're coming from a school system in the US, what's the main differences and similarities that you've seen between those two school systems, like the US and Spain?
That's an interesting question. We've pretty much seen schools that are really trying to adopt AI specifically and technology just in general. And so it's been interesting and fun to see the way AI can be used productively for students. In where I'm from, the focus is really on the technology without thinking about what people are learning and how you teach correctly. And so there's a lot of misuse, I think, where I'm from. And it seems like the use here so far that I've seen has been very intentional.
So it's more about the end goal and not the journey.
The end goal and the process and the learning and AI or technology as an assistant to the learning as opposed to just being the point of the lesson.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. So for you, what would you say is like the main importance of holding conversations like this that we hold here in the Global Education Forum, like about AI, about technology, about how all of this impacts education?
And the main thing is that we can't ever lose sight of is that the students are the reason we're doing what we're doing. And very often what you hear as teachers is, oh, you have to use this tool, or you have to use that, or you have to use this, because it has this potential or that potential. If the learning isn't happening, then that's not something that we should be using. That's not a tool that you want. So no matter what we're talking about, whether it's pens and paper or pencils or AI or a tablet or whatever, the focus has to be on the learning. And one of the things that happens is that people get lost in what could happen. This could be a benefit. This could work, this whatever. But we have to look at what's actually happening. How do students actually use whatever the technology is? And that's where sometimes the disconnect is when it comes to a particular tool.
Yeah. Do you think maybe the main goal for the future should be to listen more intently to the students?
Yes. I think, first of all, observe. We have to look at what students actually do when they have a different tool. And again, it doesn't matter what the tool is. How are they using it? And then can they use it better? And how can we teach them to use it
how can
better?
We improve?
Correct. Yeah. The goal, again, has to be about the learning and not the tool for the learning. I always think of like if I had to pound a nail into that wall, I wouldn't grab a saw.
Yeah.
It's the wrong tool for the job. So the main thing is what's the right tool for the job. And sometimes the correct tool is a phone or an AI, but a lot of times it's not. And so the focus has to be on making sure that whatever we're doing, we're using the right tools for the job.
Do you think maybe there's a certain risks or of maybe trying to use AI for every single problem instead of focusing on finding the right tool, as you said?
Yeah, and that's where I think I differ from some of the people here is that I see, because I work with students every day, the risks. Because, is it possible for students to use AI productively? Of course it is. It's possible for all of us to use all these things for the way they were maybe designed and what people are imagining. But we have to remember, if we're talking about the average young person, and they realize they have this tool that can do all their homework for them, or write the essay for them, that is a very big temptation for a student. So the role of the teacher is super important to help the student to use, whether it's AI or whatever, in a very targeted way. We're going to use it for this particular purpose. Just not, here it is,
no,
have,
it's like
have
it's
fun.
the balance between not doing anything and letting the AI do everything and using it as the tool that it is, instead of like as a shortcut of some sort.
Right, and that's the thing that we have to remember is that we're talking about, sometimes very young people And again, the average student is mostly just wants to live their life and be with their friends and play games and whatever. So they're going to try and get their schoolwork done as fast as they can. And if ChatGPT can do that, or some other AI,
they're gonna
can
take
do
that. Yeah, they're
sure.
gonna take that road,
Right.
definitely.
So we have to just have our eyes open whenever we're working with whatever the tool is, and students. We have to think about how they're actually going to use it.
Taking all of this into consideration, what is your vision for like a future school with all of these new technologies that are currently, appearing?
What's interesting is that some of the most exclusive and expensive private schools in the world use no technology, no advanced digital technologies of any kind. So when people talk about the future of education or the future-oriented thinking, I think they just automatically assume that it's going to involve some sort of digital tools and technologies. And that's, to me, that's obviously going to be part of what we do moving forward, but that's not the whole thing. And I think that's where sometimes we get off track a little bit, because we get sort of seduced by the
new technology, the shiny new thing.
The shiny new thing. Oh,
yeah.
That could, and we think about what could happen, which is great. I mean, you want to think about possibilities, but we also have to think about probabilities, likelihood, and reality. So for me, any lesson, any school day would have a skilled teacher thinking in every single lesson. And I certainly don't do this every single time when I teach a lesson, but the goal, I think, for all of us should be, what am I trying to get the students to learn or be able to do? And then what are the best tools to reach that goal? And whatever those tools are, that's what we want to use. I think that principle would hold today, 100 years ago, 100 years from now. I think that's always the bedrock.
No, those tools definitely don't have to be necessarily a brand new shiny thing, technology.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. As a student myself, it's really refreshing to hear a professor and a teacher talk about being able to accept that not all the tools are gonna be like AI or gonna be the shiny new thing, and
right.
we are gonna we have to remember the place that we're coming from. We're coming from pencils and sheets of paper and markers, and not a shiny new brand new thing.
Right. And a lot of times, the adults will hear about some new thing and think, oh, I have to use this for students. I
have to implement it
right
now,
away.
ASAP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of times students, especially students who have phones, they're used to working on whatever the digital device is. And so sometimes it's a nice refreshing break to not have to do that. I mean, you want to hear about, first thing is human connection. How can I connect to my teacher? How can I connect to my peers, my school in general?
Cannot be replaced by any type of...
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's, I think something that we miss a lot of times is, oh, we got to put this screen over here and the AI or chat or whatever. And a lot of times it's unnecessary.
What's your main takeaway from this whole forum in education?
Well, the great thing about this particular forum is how open everyone is to different ideas, because a lot of times my co-author, Matt Miles, and I, when we go and talk to groups, we are met with some resistance. People don't want to hear the things we have to say sometimes. Here, everybody's very open. Everybody's exchanging ideas, and the best part about all that is the focus is on students and learning. How are we going to do this best? Yeah. That's the best thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you as a student myself also. Good. It was wonderful to have you. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of the trip.
Thank you. This was great. Appreciate it.
Thank you.